also found it interesting, Herb, that as high as Ryan has set the bar for that number one pick, he's kind of set a lower bar for free agency. And I appreciate that the messaging he's had out there. And I'll start this conversation with this and we can expand from there. But franchise tag day deadline passed on Monday, and the Kansas City Chiefs did not put the franchise tag on Orlando Brown. Now, they still have a week to try to negotiate a longer-term extension with Orlando Brown and keep him around. They can let him walk into the market and then say, hey, we'll take the right to, match whatever offers you get out there, and we'll figure out what it looks like from there. But Orlando Brown, obviously a guy that Ryan Poles has history with from Kansas City. Orlando Brown, obviously one of the guys in the top 10 lists of free agents in a modest free agency class in 2023. Orlando Brown obviously would fill a need on an offensive line that has needs front to back, side to side. What are your takes on how they manage that situation as they keep a pulse on it?
Listen, I think that would be an ideal scenario for them if they can find themselves in a position where they can truly go out and get Orlando Brown. That's an ideal situation. Now, they may have to overpay for him because, as you said, the Chiefs can say, hey, we'll just go ahead and match it. Well, you said something that they don't want to match, right? You've got the money to do it. You're in a position to be able to do it. You might have to overpay for it. You'll probably have to overpay for it, but that's okay. This isn't the time for, fans and the reporters say, oh, they're spending too much money. Stop counting them people money. They got a lot of it. Don't worry about it, okay? They need players. What they don't have a lot of are difference-making players. They got a lot of money, okay? So don't stop counting them people money. It's fine, right? If they have to overpay for it, then go ahead and overpay for it. I didn't foresee this actually coming to fruition. I know it's something that we were always talking about, and there were whispers and rumors that, hey, wouldn't it be great? Yeah, it would have been great. I didn't necessarily see it coming to this. If it actually comes to that, the Bears should open up their wallets, write the check for whatever it's going to be, and get one piece absolutely solidified on the offensive line and then start to build the rest around it. So I think it would be an ideal situation. They'll just probably have to overpay for it if that's the term you want to use.
So it is a term I want to use because this is where the pushback from inside the walls at 1920 Football Drive will come back, because two of the words that Ryan continues to use are discipline and value.
Sure.
And he wants to be disciplined in free agency. And it's why I say he's set a lower bar for free agency than he has for that number one pick, because I think he has this vision of understanding, like, they're not in, I've called it splurge and surge mode right now, where you spend now and then you get this express ramp to success. Like they understand that to build long-term success, they've got to piece by pieces, and Ryan says stair step it up to success. And so it's going to be really interesting to see how he navigates that, because I do think he's willing to overpay to a point. And sure, the one thing that we have in our back pocket is understanding what he did with Roquan Smith, who obviously was pushing. And Ryan was like, well, we're willing to overpay to this point. And Roquan's like, well, we want you to overpay to this point. And then Roquan goes and gets a deal in Baltimore for $100 million in 5 years. And you say, okay, well, the Bears weren't willing to open up the wallet from one of their homegrown stars, and they kept their feet dug in, and they had a level of value that they valued Roquan on, and they didn't go beyond it. So I'm fascinated with all this flexibility that Ryan is in free agency to see how firm he is in that regard. I think in 2 weeks from now, we're going to look back and go, okay, he was willing to spend because he had it to spend, or, oh man, he was a little more frugal because he's got a more calculated vision on this thing.
I think it's a very nuanced situation. When you talk about value, it's very, very relative. It's relative to a lot of things, relative to where you are as a team in terms of your roster development and your process to trying to build a championship team. It's relative to the position that each individual player plays and how much you value that position on your team. And so maybe inside linebacker just isn't one of those premier or hot spot positions for Ryan Poles, for Matt Eberflus, for this team in particular, or, so maybe that's just not something that they wanted to do. But you talk about, protecting the franchise. If that's what you view Justin as, then that may be one of those premier positions in which you do have that level of value for. And so it's a sliding scale. That's not so much, hey, this is what happened for Roquan, so this is what we have to do at left tackle, or this is what we have to do at defensive end. It's a different situation when you weigh that value based on each individual case. And so I think that he can still be sincere when he's saying, hey, I don't want to be foolish. I don't want to be wasteful. I want to be disciplined. I want to do those types of things and get value. But that value looks different based on the scenario and the person.